Hey guys, and welcome to the first official lesson. Just quickly, this will be part 1 for tenses, but it's the basics you will need. So all we do in this video is just the form, just on how to write the tenses. How to use the tenses actually, we will do a few more lessons. But I like to split it up just so you don't get overwhelmed. I have explained the tenses about a million times in my life. And I notice if you just put on too much at once in one lessons, even if you explain it in a simple way, people will still get confused. So today, all we're going to do is just to explain the form of the tenses, and then please join me for the next 5 lessons afterwards, and you will have no trouble with tenses whatsoever. Okay, here we go. As you can see here, I have prepared a table. There's nothing in there yet, but this is going to be our tenses Bible. That's what I like to call it. Because once you have it, you will learn it, you will know about it, and it will be easy. Yeah, the best part about this table is that all the tenses are going to be there. 12 of them. 3 time forms and 4 tenses. What I have prepared here, 3 columns on the left are the times. Now you all know the times because we have whatever happened yesterday. That is exactly the past. Whatever will happen tomorrow, that's the future. And whatever happens now, you guessed it, that's the present. Yesterday is the past, tomorrow is the future, today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Something to remember. Okay, so what we have are now the times, okay? And now we're talking about the tenses themselves. I'm sure you have heard of different types of tenses and you can name them. I'm sure you have heard, for example, of the simple past. Okay, there's the past, then here should be the simple. And already we are having 3 tenses out of 12. We have the simple past. By the way, you can also call it past simple. It does not matter. You have the simple present and you have the simple future. Now, I like to explain to my student that it's the simple future. You probably, or a lot of people have heard of future 1. Me personally, I find it very, very confusing to call it future 1, because then we will have future 2 and perfect, we will have future 2 and progressive, perfect progressive. You know, I always wonder, why is it not called future 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's what I just like to call it, the future simple. We just keep it simple. Simple past, simple present, simple future. Simple is good. So we have 3 tenses already. Now the next one, exactly, that's the perfect. And I'm doing it exactly in this order. Sometimes people just want to explain first the perfect and then the simple, but I do it in this order and you will see there's a reason for this. Okay? So again, we have 3 more tenses. Past perfect, present perfect, and future perfect. Again, some people might call it future 2 perfect. I just like to call it future perfect. You know why? No confusion. And it's in the end, it's not about what you call the tense. In the end, it's about that you understand the tense. And most people, I explain it this way, future perfect, future simple, they understand it this way. So let's keep it nice and simple. So what else do we have? Yeah, that's the one we agreed on in the beginning. We didn't want to say continuous, we would like to say progressive. Progressive. We call it progressive because something is in progress. Makes totally sense actually. There's totally a logic behind this, by the way. That's the best part. When we're done with this, you will see the logic in English grammar. And when you see the logic in something, then you can remember it and you can use it, you can apply it. Yeah, so we have 9 tenses so far. Past progressive, present progressive, future progressive. The other ones we already talked about. And the last one, anyone, do you remember what's the last one? It's actually so simple. It's not simple, but it's very simple. We just put these two together. We call it the perfect progressive. Whoa, as you have noticed, I cannot speak and write very well at the same time. Okay, so there we go. 12 tenses. 12 tenses, and here they are. And I'm sure you have heard of all of them, just never together. But they belong together. They always go together. But in this way, it makes totally sense. In this way, you find the logic. So all we're going to do now, we will just do the form. Just the form, and then the next lessons that are to come, in those we will explain everything. Okay, let's start with the most simple part. And of course, we have to find an example. What I like to do is not take a regular verb like walk or talk, because nothing will ever change. I would like to use an irregular verb. And an irregular verb we could actually use for all of the tenses, and they actually will make sense. Or I can actually find a real life example. And there's one irregular verb which I really like for using this is eat. And there's another one which I also like is drive. So I don't know, what do you think? Eat or drive? I can't decide. Let's go with drive. Yeah, drive it is. Okay, that's what I thought. Because eat, you know, some people might be a bit sensitive about that topic. Good, let's take drive. Simple present. You guys tell me? Yes, that's what it is. I drive. And of course we could use any other pronoun, but why not I? Nice and simple. I drive. Nothing you have to remember, it's the most basic form of the verb. I can quickly mention on every tense, I can quickly give one example on how we actually use it in real life. I drive, something we do always, never, sometimes, something that's a fact, or something that we do regularly in the future, or something that's planned for the future. For example, I drive to work every day. It's actually true. I have another job. I drive every day. I never drive. I sometimes drive. At 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I drive to work. As every day. Okay, next. Simple past. Yep, that's the second column of our irregular verbs. I drove. I drive. I drove. And the last column, yes, I have driven, of course. Anything we need to remember there? No, just it's the second column of irregular verbs. By the way, another suggestion, every English book should have the irregular verbs and this table of tenses on the last page. Just like an index, just like when you're looking for words, you should just be able to open the last page and all you see is, table of tenses, other page, most common irregular verbs. That's my suggestion to anyone who makes English books for people to learn. Don't have them hidden somewhere on page 87, irregular verbs and one tense here and one tense there. No, last 2 pages. Yeah, the table of tenses and the second last page, irregular verbs. That's where I want to look for it, okay? Not hide it somewhere. Or sometimes you're just completely missing in bad English books. All right, so future. Now we have a rule. Future, of course, yes. I will drive. Already have one rule right here. I will drive. Will, we just put it right here. Will is what we will always use for the future. We have one second option for the simple future. That's right. I am going to drive. So we have two choices, two possibilities. You can either say, I will drive, or you can say, I am going to drive. What's the difference? Good question. I explain it simple and easy. Of course, there's always a lot of exceptions. Simple and easy way. I will, I always say it's less sure. As soon as you say maybe, possibly, I think, could be, I will. For example, what are you going to eat for dinner tonight? I don't know. Maybe I will have a burger. Maybe I will not have a burger. Okay? But let's say my wife made dinner plans last night at 6 o'clock already and she said, tomorrow, burgers on the menu. My friend asked me, what will you eat tomorrow? Oh yeah, that one I know. Tonight, I am going to eat, or I'm going to have a burger because we planned it in the past, so it's more sure. Yeah, simple explanation. Will, less sure. Be going to, more sure. Okay, let's move on. We're done with the simple. Maybe if it helps you, you can always remember the simple is really simple. Simple past, I drove yesterday. The action simply ended. Done. Over. I drive every day. That's also very simple. I drive every day to work, nothing special. Simple present. And simple future, it will or it is going to be simply happen in the future. These are the most common tenses, by the way, we're using. Okay, plus two more, which I'll show you. So, perfect. Let's move on to perfect. In perfect, we have a little rule we need to follow. Let's start with the present perfect. Present perfect. I have driven. I have driven my car today. That's why my legs don't hurt, because usually I walk. Okay, I have driven. So here you can see we have to add the word have. That is a rule for the perfect. Have. And one more thing. Yes, you guessed it. The third form of the verb. Drive, drove, driven. Let's just write it like this. Third form of the verb. I have driven my car. Past perfect. Almost the same. Before I arrived at work, I had driven my car. Yeah, it's an action happened before another action. Don't worry, we get deeper into it later. All you have to remember, you put now the have in past. I had driven. Okay? And the future, you know, the rules are already there. Will plus have plus third form. I will have driven. I have a friend who lives in Moscow. That's about 4,500 miles from here. So imagine I drive there. So it's an action that ends in the future. It will be completed or perfected in the future. So I can say, man, by the time I get to your place, buddy, I will have driven 4,500 miles. And he will say, yeah, that's crazy. I will say, yeah, I know. Anyway, yeah, Pretty simple and perfect to perfect. Let's continue to the progressive. Present progressive, let's always start with the present first. Progressive is always an action in progress. Starts at one point, ends at one point. It's in the middle of something is happening in a period of time. I am driving. I'm driving my car right now. I can't pick up the phone. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Okay? I'm driving now. All right? Something happening right now. In the past. Oh, first the rule, of course. As you can see, am is a form of the verb to be. That's the rule. The verb to be plus, of course, the ing. In the progressive, we always need the ing. Be plus ing. Easy to remember. In present, I am driving. In the past, you guessed it, I was driving. So all you do, the form of be in the present, in the past, and in the future. Will. I will be driving. Again, this is something that will happen in the future, in a period of time. Yeah, boss, don't call me at 6:30, please, because I will be driving at that time. My journey starts at 6, goes on till 7. Yeah, I will be driving between 6 and 7. Don't call me at 6:30. Period of time in the future. Okay? So, let's go on to the last but not least. It's the most difficult tense of all, but it's also the one we don't actually use that often. But if you follow me, if you follow my videos, and it's actually beautiful if you can use some of those tenses, especially this one. Yeah, the future perfect progressive. It's a wonderful tense, but there are actually not that many opportunities to use it. But for today, anyway, I promised you we would just do the form and explanation in the future. So, we have the perfect, we have the progressive. We have the perfect progressive in one. So all we do, yeah, we just put them all together. Okay? I have. Let's say, do it this way. There's the driving from progressive. I have, yeah. All we need now, these two together. We have the have, we have the ing, and we need the third form of the verb to be. I am, I was, I have been. The third form, okay? I have been driving. Very easy way to remember this, okay? Very easy. Yeah, the have from the perfect, the ing from the progressive, and these two you need to put together. Third form of the verb to be. I have been driving. Done. Example? Yeah, okay, I'll give you an example. I have been driving for 3 hours and I'm still not there yet. I'm getting tired. An action happened for a period of time, and most likely it's going to finish. It's going to continue. Okay, it's not going to end. All right. This in the past. That's the present. Now we go to the past. Perfect progressive in the past. Yes. Let's put the rules up there quickly. Have, of course. Have. The third form of the verb to be, it's been. It will never change. It will always be been. Been. Have plus been plus ing. Have plus been plus ing. Let's put the plus in between so nobody gets confused. Have plus been plus ing. And now we do the same in the past. I had been driving. A quick example, well, it's usually something that happens before another action in the past, and it's in the past of course, and it's a period of time. Before I stopped to have my breakfast, I had been driving for 3 hours. I guess that's why I was hungry. Okay? So you have the present perfect progressive, you have the past perfect progressive, and now, last but not least, the most amazing future perfect progressive. A tense we almost never use, but if you can find examples, situations when to use it, it's really cool. So, our will from the future, and the rest have been driving. I will have been driving for 3 hours before I will have a chance to stop for breakfast. Okay? It's a period of time that will end in the future. Yeah, it sounds confusing, right? But don't worry about it. This lesson was only about explaining the form. Yeah, so if I made some comments on how to use the tenses, if it helped you so far, great. But don't worry about it. All you have to do, stay here, stay on this channel, continue to watch the next video. The most amazing thing I will show you, for example, how not to confuse the simple past and the perfect. Yeah, you all know the simple past and the perfect. But do you always know how to use them? And plus, there are differences between the British and the American English. Okay? So we will speak specifically in future forms about these two. These are usually quite confusing ones. Plus the simple present and the present progressive. Also people confuse those sometimes. Okay? But this is it, guys. This is it. This is all. This is the basics of all tenses. That's all we have. You know, it might seem a bit much, but if you consider that you might have been learning or trying to understand the tenses in school books for years and it didn't make sense to you because they have not been explained in one whole, complete way, how they all logically fit together, well, then I can totally understand how difficult it might have been to understand the tenses. Yeah, and of course, gladly, if anyone would like to, I have this in a beautiful PDF format with explanations. I would gladly send it to you. Okay, so thank you very much for joining. If you want, I can leave this on for a few more seconds. Look at it. You can pause the video, maybe, you know, just work through it a bit. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I wish you a nice day.